Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. Today we continue with our book, The Mystery of Marriage by Rabbi Itzhak Ginsburg on Shalom Bayit, on peace on the home. So last week we were talking about how detrimental it is to have an unrectified imagination and what an unrectified imagination is. So we spoke about how the world is bombarding us all the time about the ideals of how we should live our lives. You're unhappy, go to Bahamas and have a beautiful vacation. Get on a cruise for 8 days and we promise you heaven. And we live thinking that this is the way that we should be living and that this is life. And this is unrectified because what the world is feeding us is a self-centered lifestyle. Do what you want, do what makes you happy, be the person you love to be, and it's all about you. It's nothing about Hashem and what is our purpose and mission in this world. It has nothing to do with an altruistic point of view. We're just feeding our egos and feeding ourselves into thinking that this is the right way to live. So an untamed imagination is therefore the psychological base of one's evil inclination, the ultimate goal of which is to lead man into the abyss of depression and apathy. In one's imagination, all the illusions of this world find their expression. So the imagination can be a very healthy place in our minds, but it also can be a very dangerous place in our minds. So it depends on what you're dreaming about, what are your goals, what are the things you want to do in your life, where you want to be in 10 years. Depending on your priorities and your values, really you'll see if your imagination is a healthy one or it's not a healthy one. So when we see that the imagination is taking us to a wrong place and we're not living a good life and it's creating problems in ourselves and our relationship with others, then we have to go and rectify our imagination. A rectified imagination, on the other hand, enables one to sense if someone is truly a compatible mate for one. So when a person is dating and you want a good home, a beautiful home, you want a good wife or a good husband, you want to be able to be friends with them, you want to be able to share your life with them, and you want the same things and they're normal, then you know you have a rectified imagination. But when you're dreaming about the Barbie girl in the cover of the Vogue magazine, or you're dreaming about the GQ model on the GQ magazine, and you're dreaming about the Ferrari and the huge house and the vacations and the Learjet, then these things can bring you to not living reality and not being able to find the right spouse for yourself. So it is paramount importance then to rectify the imagination. There are two facets in this process: purging it of the effects of negative, unhealthy influences, and then reorienting it positively. So what it's saying is that first of all, we have to know that there's a problem in us. We have to accept that there's something wrong in the way we look at things and the way we live. Once we're able to see that our way of looking at life is not right, then that is the first step to healing and to being able to reorient yourself. But if you don't accept that the way you look at life is wrong and the way your priorities are set up are not the correct ones for a holy life, then there's not much you can do about it. You're gonna live in La La Land all your life, and that's it. But sadly, it brings a lot of pain. So we have to first accept whatever's going on. And for example, if a person drinks too much, for example, and he realizes, you know what, this problem I have with the drinking is really not taking me anywhere healthy. It's not allowing me to have a beautiful relationship with my spouse or my girlfriend, or the other way around. Then this person will acknowledge that he's in the wrong direction. He'll find help to be able to heal himself. He'll also, or she, will be able to get far away from influences that are not good for them, that make them fall, and it will allow them to help them get back into the place they want to be. There's a story of the mother of the Hofetz Haim. Hofetz Haim was a very famous rabbi that he gave us all the laws of the righteous speech, of how we should speak. And for her, it was very hard not to be looking at other people's possessions. For her, she had an eye. And she didn't like that. She realized, you know what, to be looking at other people's things is not going to take me to a good place. It's going to make me a jealous person. I'm going to be always wanting what other people have. And for her, it was something very hard to manage. And she decided to not go again to the homes of her friends and to maybe stay away a little bit and just focus on her home and on her kids and her family, and not be snooping around other people's lives. And she put that barrier in her life because it allowed her to be able to be concentrated on herself, on her home, on her values, and not the eyes going all around the place looking at things that she didn't have. And you know what the eye sees, the heart wants. It's a problem. What you see is what you want. So if she was not a very wealthy woman and she had a very wealthy friend and she lived in this gorgeous house, and every time she went there she was looking at her things and she started feeling jealous, then she realized, you know what, it's better for me not to go and to try not to look and guard myself from this. So this is what it means, really, to rectify our imagination. Each one on their own. Everybody has their own pekele in the shoe, their own little stone that is bothering them. It can be jealousy, it can be greed, it can be stinginess, whatever it is that you have to deal with yourself. Then this is one of the ways in which you can handle it. So this is one of the cures of this malady. And then there's another cure for this malady, which is a spiritual arousal. So when a person feels that they're disconnected, that they need to have a connection with Hashem, they need to live a more spiritual life, less materialistic life, and they start going to the synagogue and they start learning Torah, and they start connecting to their roots and to their essence. This also helps a person readjust and heal from unrectified imagination. But sometimes there's people who are fallen, sadly, so low that their ways are so crooked that the only way for them to be really able to get out of that is with prayer and with asking Hashem to help them get out of it. So you try your best. You try to do your job. You try to do your avodah, your work, whatever you have to do, you do. But always we need to ask Hashem for His aid, for His help, because at the end of the day, it is Him who gives us the strength and the tools to be able to succeed in everything we need to do in our lives. And so this is it. I'll leave you today here. I wish you a beautiful and blessed week, and we'll see you next week. Live a little higher.